Well, hello and welcome, and thank you for being here for my stress, sleep and self-care workshop. Today we're going to dive into how to feel better and sleep better using a natural holistic approach. So this is a short version of my in-person workshop. Okay, so if you do prefer in-person sessions, definitely get in touch and I'd love to let you know when they are coming up. So this session is designed for you if you find yourself often feeling overwhelmed, anxious or stressed. If you just want to take better self-care of yourself using that mind, body, soul approach. If you find yourself constantly feeling tired, wanting more sleep. If you just want a better way to manage everyday life ups and downs. Maybe you already have essential oils and you have been to an introductory session and you're now wanting to dive deeper and go beyond the top 10 oils for physical health and well-being. And if you haven't discovered those top 10 oils, which are really amazing for physical health, I do also run a session on this as well called Happy Mums, Healthy Kids. Maybe you are just concerned about side effects of just very common medications and you're looking into alternatives. Or maybe you just want to support, go beyond yourself and support your whole family emotionally and create a really beautiful, calming environment for yourself. So whatever the case, maybe there's just one of those that applies to you or perhaps all, you are definitely in the right place. So this is what we're going to cover today. So firstly, I want to introduce myself and my story, I guess what began this journey for me and why I'm here sharing this message with you. We'll look at the connection between the mind, body and soul and our three brains. We'll then dive into how emotions are processed and how does that actually affect us on a day-to-day level. And then how essential oils can actually help us processing how we feel and also how we can use that. And then I really want to go beyond oils because we know they are just one piece of the puzzle, okay? And it's really comes back to our lifestyle choices and the healthy habits we're creating. So we're going to be looking at, everything from mindset to meditation to our nutrition as well and other habits that we have that can really, fill that bigger picture. And then lastly, stick around to the end. I'm going to show you how you can get them into your home if you don't have them already and with a special offer for you at the end. Let me just double check that this is actually recording for you. Yes, it is. Okay, so a little bit about me. So what brought me here? Now, professionally, my background is I've spent 14 years in public health research. I've spent many years educating the community in the areas of cancer prevention and mental health. So I guess you could say that, that I thought what health and well-being was all about. And then my beautiful boys came along, and particularly my youngest there, you can see on the right, who turned everything on its head, and it really made me look at health in a whole new way. So when he was born 5 years ago, he spent the first year of his life screaming in pain from reflux. And it was inconsolable. No matter what we tried, no matter what medication we tried, what procedure that we had, different ways of, from breastfeeding to formula, he would just spend his time screaming. And so at the end of a year, he was very heavily medicated and destined for stomach surgery. So as you can imagine, as a mum, and whether or not you've dealt with reflux or not, it left me feeling very powerless and I was totally frustrated. I spent a lot of that year in tears and just desperately seeking answers. And I just thought there has to be a better way. And then we were introduced to a holistic doctor who changed our lives and started on this journey and changed our lives in more ways than one. So, with my son, he is now medication free and he was settled in 4 months. Sorry, he became medication free in 4 months. But moving on, and if you want to hear more about that story, that's a topic of another class that I do. But I guess it really flowed on to unexpected benefits for us as well. So, the process of us changing our diet and detoxing our home and starting to use essential oils introduced to us to a way of life that helped our family physically, but also emotionally as well. And that's what I wanted here to talk with you about as well, because that was something that I guess you could say was a pleasant overflow of that. So now what I started using as for their physical health benefits, I've started using for my own emotional benefits. So these essential oils I'm introducing you to today have become tools to support myself for everyday life, to help me feel calmer and just a lot more mindful and in tune with how I'm feeling, you know, and just more connected to my body. I find that I'm less reactive to different situations. They've helped me, you know, cope with those everyday ups and downs. I've found that I've had more energy. You know, I've shifted a fair bit of weight. My hormones have balanced. My skin has improved. So it's really benefited me in so many different ways. Okay. So I want you now to, you know, look at yourself and I guess maybe what's brought you here. What was it that you had in mind that you were wanting to get out of watching this session? Okay, so maybe you have some goals in your life. Maybe you just want to feel, you know, you just feel like something's missing in your life, or you feel constantly stressed, constantly rushing. You know, maybe you're just feeling really sad and you just want to have a mood boost. Whatever it is, I think it all comes back to all of us want to feel more happy and empowered and connected. And I think we can call this a state of wellness. So here on the left, we can see this wellness pyramid. Okay, and often when we think of wellness, we think about the physical. We think about eating well and exercising. And I know that that's where I began, okay? But in reality, it's actually where, you know, mind, body, and spirit all come together and are really aligned, and we're nourishing all three aspects, okay? Because sometimes we get stuck in focusing on one area. You know, say we're eating really well. But if we're ignoring the thoughts in our head, or we're not listening to our intuition and, you know, feeling we might be in a job that on paper it looks really good, but we're feeling totally disaligned and it's not, we don't feel like it's really who we are. That's when we start to have, you know, to have problems that might not seem so obvious that that's where it's coming from. So my message here is we're designed to function as a whole, and mind, body, and spirit are really interconnected and at a cellular level. Okay? And there is a lot of, you know, science around this as well. If you're interested in that side of things, there is a great book called The Biology of Belief, which I highly recommend. But yeah, there are a lot of books that are supporting what I'm talking about today. And if you'd like my recommendations, I'd more than love to hear from you. Okay, now let's remember that our bodies are incredible. They are made up of literally trillions of cells that are constantly repairing and replacing themselves. So they're really wired for health, okay? Our bodies are trying to keep us well and healthy. And consider what we put them through. They're just incredible. It's said that we actually have a whole new body every 7 years because those cells are constantly repairing themselves. So it's really up to us to nurture those cells, okay? And I think different, you know, we might see different practitioners from time to time, whether it's a GP or a psychologist or a naturopath, and, you know, whatever the case, they all have a place. But at the end of the day, we are with ourselves 24/7. We choose the foods that we eat, we choose the thoughts that we think and the habits that we create. So it's really up to us to, you know, to nurture ourselves. And we really deserve to feel well. We get so used to feeling really average and, you know, think that that's just the way that it is or the way that I am, but we really deserve to, you know, have the best life possible. Okay, so how are emotions processed in the body? And it's not something we think about much. You know, we know emotions are how we feel, and you may have heard of them called energy in motion. But if we look at it, you know, down at that molecular level, what they actually are is they are information carrying molecules that bind to and react with cell receptors. Just reading the definition here. And they travel into the cell and they impact function and behavior. So what does that actually mean? I think all we really need to know is it affects the biochemistry of our body. It affects how our cells function. And I think we just need to look at the example of feeling nervous. So maybe think of a time when maybe you had a presentation, or, you know, you had a job interview that you felt really anxious about. Okay, think about where you felt that. Maybe your thoughts were racing. Maybe your tummy, you had butterflies in your tummy. Maybe your heart was pumping faster than ever. Okay, and that is a perfect example about how our emotions are processed throughout our body. It's not just up here. So that brings us to looking at the three brains. Now, you may or may not have heard of this concept, but we actually have three brains. We have the more obvious brain, which is in our mind. This is the thinking part. This is our logic, our rationale, our intellect, okay? The interesting thing though, we spend so much time in our conscious brain, but the reality is our subconscious directs over 90% of our behavior, okay? So we're not even aware of this. And that is why tools like meditation and hypnosis are so powerful at accessing that subconscious part of our brain. And at the end, I'm going to show you some really great apps. Not show you, but tell you about my favorite apps on that side of things. Then we also have our heart brain. So we can think of this as our intuition, okay? Always a great place to make decisions from. You know, hopefully we chose our partner on the basis of our heart brain, okay? And there are shown to be more neuro pathways that run from the brain to the heart than vice versa. And then we have our gut feeling. And this is a huge emerging area. It's an area that I'm really passionate about and I think is often overlooked. But it's our gut, okay? And we all know the term gut feeling. And that's because 90% of our body's serotonin, as well as our dopamine, is actually, that is involved in the mood and how we feel, is actually produced in our gut, okay? So our neurotransmitters, they start in our gut. So if our gut is compromised and unhealthy, it's going to have a pretty hard time producing those happy hormones. There's also the vagus nerve that talks between the, and I'm not a scientist, okay, I am a public health researcher. I like to read a lot, but if this is something that you want to learn about, I can happy to let you know resources. But there is a vagus nerve that connects our gut and our brain, so they literally talk to each other. And interestingly, the integrative doctor that we saw for my son, she often will see, you know, children and families that are dealing with, you know, neurological conditions or conditions that affect the brain, like, you know, depression and autism and things like that. And her treatment, one of her treatment paths is actually getting the gut healthy. Okay, so it's really recognised in that integrative health space. Okay, so bottom line is, for us to feel good, we want to be aligning and connecting our three brains. Okay, and so that all sounds pretty straightforward, perhaps. But let's actually look at emotions and how they play out on a typical day for us. And let's say, you know, if you're watching this, perhaps you're a mum with a family. So let's look at, let's call this mum Sally, okay? So Sally here on the left, she is having, you know, she's a part-time mum. She's just had actually, no, she's not a part-time mum. She's a stay-at-home mum because she's just had a baby, let's say. And, you know, she's had a phone call from her boss from a drama that she didn't tie up when she went on maternity leave. So making this story up here on the spot. Okay, and so her baby's crying, her dog, is that a dog or a cat? Her dog is wanting to be fed and her boss has just called in the midst of all this chaos, okay? So you can imagine all the three brains are, you know, at a emotional level, you know, as she's thinking, oh, I really have to figure this out. Maybe her heart is feeling really overwhelmed. The stomach is feeling really stuck. Like, what do I deal with first? Do I, you know, settle my baby? Do I feed the dog? What do I say to my boss? And it's playing out physically as well, okay? So eventually she starts to have a physical reaction. She starts to get a headache. She's feeling really conflicted. The stomach is feeling really, really upset. Okay, so she's feeling very disconnected from her body. And then if she has enough of these days, okay, it will start to lead to this belief of, I'm not good enough. Okay, I'm not a good employee. I left things unfinished. I'm not a great mom. You know, I can't even look after a pet. Okay. So let's look at how this actually affects Sally, because clearly on this day, her nervous system is on high alert. All right, and maybe you can relate to some of this, juggling all the different balls. You know, so this stress is affecting her energy, it's affecting her blood pressure, it's affecting her stress hormones, her adrenal, you know, her adrenaline and cortisol is flooding her body, it's affecting her digestion, her heart rate, her ability. Her body's not thinking about burning fat right now. Maybe she's feeling hungry. You know, her body's also not thinking about having a baby, aside from the fact she's just had one. But, you know, stressed bodies don't, you know, it affects fertility. Her brain isn't thinking clearly. Her immunity, affecting her immunity. All the blood is rushing to her limbs rather than her vital organs. And that night, I don't think she's going to sleep very well, okay? So we can call this fight or flight mode, and that's where her survival instinct is in play. And I think that's, you know, it's a great survival instinct where our sympathetic nervous system is on overdrive. You know, it's great for us if we're running from lions, but the reality is that this has often become a daily way of life for us, okay? We're juggling so many multiple things, and we just sometimes don't stop and take that moment to, you know, to reflect on things and really slow down. So let's think about Sally and, if, you know, a sliding door scenario, and take a minute to think about what are 3 things that she could have done to center herself in that moment. Okay, and I should have actually mentioned to grab yourself a pen and paper, because I've actually got a few activities for you. So feel free to pause this video and give yourself a moment to note some things down. I'm going to keep talking actually, because I'll let you pause that video as you need to. Okay, so, you know, some things you might have done. She might have, you know, asked for help. She might have said no to her boss and said, can I call you later? She obviously that night, if she couldn't sleep, she could have journaled. There's lots of different things that she could have done in that situation. But obviously, personally, for myself, this is when we might want to reach for oils, okay? And I'm going to show you why. So she could have actually taken a deep breath with some oils, taken a moment, you know, done what she needed to in that moment, okay? And actually you know, use her oils to actually support herself, ground herself, and to bring herself back to the present so she can actually make a clearer decision, okay? Because I think when we start to feel really stressed, then we don't always make the wisest decisions. So, and I'll come back to, you know, on a practical day-to-day level, how we can use them. So let's look at what essential oils actually do and how they interact with emotions and help us process them. So in one drop of essential oil, it contains 40 million trillion molecules, okay? And those compounds, those aromatic compounds that are in an oil, that make up an oil, service every cell of our body within minutes. It's said to be within our bloodstream in 30 seconds when we apply oils on the soles of our feet. And what it's doing is actually protecting our cells from the effects of stress, okay? So that our cells can, you know, can function in a healthy way. So it's maintaining our cells' natural state. It's supporting physical and emotional detox, so basically helping our cells process emotions. And also affecting the limbic system when it's inhaled, and I'll talk more on that later. And now I think for this to make sense, we need to actually understand what essential oils are in nature. So if we take this peppermint leaf and we look at it under a magnifying glass, what we will see there is these tiny little oil sacs. So what's the purpose of those oil sacs? What that's doing, it's keeping that peppermint healthy. It's protecting it from viruses, from funguses, from bacteria, from the weather. Essentially, it's the immune system of the plant, and every plant has them, whether we're talking about lemon or oregano or, you know, or roses, rose petals. And they come from different parts of the plant. Now, just remember that quality is absolutely everything. Everything I'm talking about here, we're talking about high quality essential oils, and that's everything for results and safety. So you may or may not already have oils, but I highly encourage you to choose carefully when you're choosing them. Okay, and that is because there are different grades of oils. First, there are synthetic grades, and this is where they are chemical fragrances. And they're quite harmful, not only for our children, but for us as well, because they are affecting our hormones, okay? They are known to be hormone disruptors. Then there are food grades. So they are cooking extracts and flavorings. So interestingly, the food manufacturing industry is actually the largest user of essential oils, okay? This is above the beauty and skincare industry. Then there are also therapeutic grade. Now, this is an unregulated standard, so we can see the quality being compromised as well, and the health benefits might be marginal, okay? And now what is important to know is that the essential oil industry is not regulated as well. And that is why there is so much variation between the quality. And then lastly, we have certified pure therapeutic grade oils. And this is the type that I work with, which is doTERRA's. And so this is all about three things. So one is, actually I'll start with, firstly, it's about the purity of that plant, and it's also about the potency. So firstly, it means that the plants are harvested where they grow in nature, okay? So here in Australia, we do the best tea tree and eucalyptus and lemon myrtle, whereas you'll find the best frankincense in Somalia, the best peppermint in Washington. So that is really important when it comes to the therapeutic value of an essential oil. Secondly, they are also stringently tested by a third party, by an independent body that will actually check the purity and the chemistry and the potency of that oil. And then thirdly, they are verified to be pure and filler-free. Okay. So how do we use these oils to support our emotional well-being? There are three ways. We can smell them, we can put them on our skin, and we can use them internally. Okay, and they support our bodies in both physical and emotional ways. So first, let's look at smelling the oils. So this is the fastest way we can affect our mood, okay, there and then in an instant, because it's giving us direct access to our limbic area. So we can breathe it in, so we can just pop a drop in our hands, and we can rub our hands together, inhale deeply that way in the moments of need, okay? So when we're feeling really frazzled, that's the time to be inhaling the oils. Or we can pop them in a diffuser and create this beautiful calming environment for ourselves. Okay, and so different oils will have different properties. Some will be uplifting, some will help you focus, some will help you just ground and feel much calmer. And some will actually help you sleep as well. Okay, and I think they're a really powerful tool for mindfulness and just helping us feel a lot more aware about how we're feeling, because it's not often that we actually check in with what's going on, okay? So, why am I feeling this way? And then we can use them topically. And so, this is a good reminder about, this is a great reason to switch chemicals out, because our skin is super absorbent. So we can apply them to the soles of our feet if we want an overall body benefit to affect our cells and our tissues. Or we can apply them on specific areas. So for example, our different brains that we talked about, on our heart space, on our stomach, or on our head, where the back of the neck, or on the temples, okay? And we can also apply on the insides of our elbow, our wrists, or our big toe is actually also really good areas for emotions as well. Now, there are some great books around this topic, okay, that give you really amazing blends for emotional well-being. And if you're one of my members, or you do become one of my members, you do get access to some, to those books, and you can find out more about specific oils to support specific emotions. And you use local liquid coconut oil as a carrier to just help those oils absorb. So my tip there is keep a little roller ball with you in your purse and carry it around for you, so you've got it there as you need it. Okay, so the other way to use them is internally. Okay, so firstly, please make sure the brand that you're using is approved by Food Safe Australia. That is number one. Number two, not all plants are edible, so the same goes for oils. So please check the label that it actually says for flavouring use, okay? So you could do this for an immunity. We're jumping into the physical side, but we can use these for immune boosting. We can use them for digestive issues. If that's the type of thing you want to learn about, let me know, and I will send you my physical wellness class. Or you can use them as a supplement. So doTERRA does a whole range of supplements, everything for sleep, for digestive issues, for gut health as well. And I'm going to talk later about why gut health is so important when it comes to our emotional well-being. Okay, here we are. Okay, so let's get to the foundations and look a little bit beyond oils, okay? Because nutrition and gut health is an absolute key to better moods, okay? We can't, we really can't ignore this. So just like any other organ in our body, our brain needs nutrients. And also remember that our gut, we talked about our gut producing, serotonin and dopamine. And we know scientifically about the gut-brain connection. Now, so having said that, maybe you're thinking that you already eat well, okay? And perhaps you do, but I think the question to ask is, are you eating mostly plants on your plate? Is it mostly whole, fresh foods? Are you minimizing caffeine, sugar, and processed foods? And I think all of us have our days. I know that I certainly do. I eat mostly whole foods, but I'm certainly not perfect. But let's say we are eating perfectly. And so ideally, that would actually be enough. But let's look at our food supply, okay? And let's look at how it's transported. It sits in storage for a really long time. It is often sprayed with pesticides. We're living really stressful lifestyles now. We're under so much more pressure, juggling multiple things. And many of us have, compromised gut health, which is really affecting how many nutrients are being absorbed. And with under this extra stress, we're actually needing a lot more nutrition than we used to. Okay. So, knowing that nutrition is the foundation, I want to let you know about lifelong vitality, okay? So I think of this as my health insurance, because I know that no matter what I eat, this is going to have me covered, okay? So obviously food comes first, but this is that extra supplement on top to know that I'm going to get the nutrients that I need to do the things that I want to do to help my mood and help my energy. And these contain all your whole food macronutrients in whole food form, your minerals, your essential fatty acids for brain health. They also, one of the supplements there also includes essential oils, which helps the nutrients absorb at a cellular level. It contains your antioxidants, and it's actually our #1 seller, okay? So most people know doTERRA for oils, but more than anything else, the most popular product is this supplement. It is TGA approved, and it has been well studied for mood, for energy, for irritability, and happiness and anxious feelings as well. If you'd like to see that study, I'm more than happy to send it to you. So I think of this as a body reboot and an overhaul for just to feel good and to think more clearly as well. Then there's also our Gut Cleanse and Restore program, which is a 30-day program which includes digestive enzymes, probiotics, a product, GX Assist, which cleanses out the bowel, and a couple of different oils to help your body detox. Okay, so think of it like a clear slate for your gut that goes alongside a healthy diet. So bringing this all together, where do we actually begin? Okay, because often we know this stuff, but how do we bring it together on that practical basis? And I really like this quote: "You fill a bucket drop by drop. You clear your mind thought by thought. You heal yourself moment by moment." So, life is not going to be perfect. Every day we'll have different challenges. And, so I think the question to ask is, how do we respond in those specific moments? Okay, because that's all we've got control over. And so I see these oils as tools for helping us be mindful and supporting how we feel. Okay, so I want you now to take a moment. How are you feeling right now? Even just listening to this. Maybe this is bringing things up for you, or hopefully it's helping you reflect on different habits that you have. Maybe your eating habits or how you respond to stressful situations. So I'll give you a moment to think. I'll keep moving, and I'll let you, I'll let you pause this if you want to tune in. And a tool that I really love for this is meditations as well. Okay. So this is the time when we might want to reach for a specific oil to help us do that or help us process that. So let's say if we have a really low mood, or we're feeling very flat, or maybe we just want a mood boost, we could reach for chia. Okay, it's one of the absolute favorites of mine. If we're feeling like we're procrastinating, we need a pick-me-up, or maybe we're about to go to the gym and we need some extra encouragement. Or perhaps we want more connection or inspiration. That's when we reach for passion. Maybe we're feeling really sad, or going through a loss of some sort, and we need that extra comfort. We can go for console. If we're feeling frustrated or angry or just want to let go, we can reach for forgive. If we're feeling stressed and we want to feel calmer, we can go for peace. Okay, so this is one of my favorite kits. So what we can do with those as we need to is just put a drop on our palms and we're going to inhale them, or we can apply them topically onto whatever area that we like, or we can actually use a little roller ball and apply them as well. Okay, so they're a really beautiful tool to help support you in those moments. Okay, so let's look at beyond oils, because we know they're just one part of the picture. Okay, so the question to ask is, how else can we nourish ourselves? So we can ask ourselves, for a healthy mind, let's look at our three brains. Okay, so for a healthy mind, what are our thought patterns? Okay, are we noticing how we're talking to ourselves? Because I really think sometimes we, the way that we talk to ourselves, we would never consider talking that way to a best friend. Are there any thoughts that we can weed out? Or maybe some habits that we can weed out? And what are we being influenced by? Okay, so sometimes we don't realize it, but what we're looking at on social media, or what we're watching on the news or on telly, all these influences around us really affecting how we feel and conditioning our minds. So, I know for myself, I have, cleaned up my news feed on social media. I'm very conscious about what I fuel my mind with. I don't watch the news. And that's really a personal choice of mine, but just start to notice how you feel, and do certain things that you watch, maybe they're, I don't know, violent movies or whatever the case, just notice how that affects your mood as well, and do you want to put your energy into that, or is there something else that you feel is more uplifting? So, for myself personally, or as meditation, now I highly recommend an app called Insight Timer. It's whatever that you are needing, whether you're wanting tools for sleeping more deeply, managing anxiety, for helping lift your mood, for positive affirmations, whatever the case, there are really beautiful meditations there. There are also courses as well. No, I don't get kickbacks from Insight Timer. I absolutely just love it. So make the most of the amazing free tools out there that can support you. There are also great podcasts as well, where you can listen to inspirational speakers. So this is something that I like to do rather than watching the news or watching TV. Is I love fueling my mind with really positive, empowering info. Or maybe, you might want to seek professional help, okay? And this is absolutely crucial for a lot of people, okay? So wherever you're at, reach for what's going to support you. Because obviously for some, they do actually need that one-to-one professional interaction. And then make sure you're getting enough sleep, because, if we haven't had enough sleep, it's shown to affect our moods, okay? I've just got a little affirmation down the bottom there that, that we are enough, and focusing more on gratitude as well, okay? And I know it's a cliche, but things really start to shift when we notice what we already have rather than constantly seeking more. Now let's look at our heart. How can we nourish our heart? So from a physical aspect, we know that we need to be getting enough rest and moving our body to get that heart pumping. And then we can also look more at, our relationships around us. Are they serving us? And the beliefs that we have about ourselves as well. And again, on a physical aspect, are we giving ourselves, our heart needs nutrients too. So for example, with the Lifelong Vitality, it includes nutrients for heart health. Are we practicing enough self-care, and are we meeting our emotional needs? So maybe there are some things that we need to let go of on a deeper level. And let's look at a healthy gut. And obviously this is my passion. So what can we let go of? Is there processed foods that we need to replace with whole foods? Okay. Are there certain habits that we're creating? Maybe we aren't, we're eating on the run and we're not eating mindfully. I know that sometimes I can be guilty of this, so it's something that I've really tried to work on. And what nourishment can we add in? How much nutrition can we get? So it's not about what can we take out, but I see it as what can we add in. So drinking plenty of clean water, having digestive enzymes. Do we need to add probiotics in? Or maybe you need extra support. So if you've got ongoing chronic gut issues, if you download my 4-step gut health action plan, in there you will find a list of really practical steps, and basically takes you through what we've done to help my son. But it also has a section about where you can find practitioners, integrative holistic practitioners that take that holistic approach to gut health. So you'll find some websites in that action plan. So I want you to take a moment now to think about, how do these different feelings affect your life? okay, your sleep. Are you dealing with anxious feelings? Are you dealing with anger or frustration? Or maybe you just need to get more motivated, okay? So if you can tick at least one of these, I want you to consider essential oils as a tool to support you, okay? So let me now introduce you to some different options if you're wanting to, fill out that piece of the puzzle, okay, and help make it easier for you to, to sleep better and manage your well-being. So what these kits I'm going to show you are, what they include is discounted pricing. They also give you free access to 25 to 55% off retail price, okay, for 12 months. Normally you would need to pay $35 for that, but it's actually included in the kits I'm showing you. What you also get is my ongoing support, education and resources, okay, and recipe books. So you're definitely not left with a box of oils and then not knowing what to do with it. And you big part of my online community. We get to join lots of other like-minded people and can ask questions and feel supported. So basically you're going to feel confident using your oils, a lot more supported and, around like-minded people to help you feel inspired. Plus you get freebies and get to save extra money. Okay, so this first kit is the most popular kit, and this is the emotional aromatherapy kit, and it's the one I introduced to you earlier. So it includes 5 ml bottles of Motivate, Peace, Console, Forgive, Cheer and Passion. So an oil for every possible emotion, okay? Plus you get a free diffuser. Okay. And remember you can make little roller balls out of these and you can use them on your skin and you can with coconut oil and you can also use them in the diffuser. And the same goes for the mood management kit. So this is a budget option. And you're getting 15 ml bottles and it includes 2 calming and grounding oils and 2 uplifting and invigorating oils. And these are just beautiful. Okay. Or if you want a combination of oils for emotional and physical well-being, there's the Aroma Touch kit. Okay, and it's only $242 and includes 15 ml bottles. 2 of them are calming, 2 of the oils are uplifting. 2 are really great to get you through winter and help support your immune system. And 2 of them are great for any muscle tension. Because often when we feel stressed, we tense our shoulders and that body gets really stiff. Okay? Plus you're getting a coconut oil as well. Okay. Or if you preferred the emotional aromatherapy kit but preferred to use them topically and didn't want to make your own rollers, then this is a roller kit. So this is $195 and it includes the oils as readily diluted rollers. Okay, so they're ready to go. They're very simple to make your own, but if you don't wish to make your own, you can just roll them on topically, okay, and pop them in your handbag. Now here are some recommended add-ons, okay? So these are optional, but you can choose to add these onto your order. So firstly, a coconut oil, which if you're going to use the oils topically, which I highly recommend, you definitely want a liquid carrier oil. This is really nice, light and non-greasy. There's also the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is going to have you covered for all your vitamins and minerals and for gut health as well, okay? And then there is a diffuser as well, where if the kit that you've chosen doesn't have one, you can add that on separately. So how do you order? So you can either book a free discovery call with me, and then we can talk about what your priorities are, what your goals are, and I can customize something to suit your budget and your needs and help answer. Maybe you've got lots of questions, okay? So I can help you on the phone or a Zoom call, or you can go to my website, thenaturalswitch.com.au, click on shop now, and then you just follow the prompts from there. So your language and location, wherever you are in the world, chances are doTERRA will ship there. And just choose wholesale customer, add your details in, and it will be at your door within a week. Now, I mentioned a special offer to you. So this is your free goodie bag, okay? So if you order within 3 days of watching this class, if you are new to doTERRA, okay, and if you order within 3 days, you also receive a free goodie bag. So in that, you receive a recipe booklet that will get you confident using your oils. You receive empty rollerball bottles, a little pack of empty rollers that you will need to pop your rolls into. some samples of either the mood management or emotional aromatherapy. Depending what you bought, if you bought the mood management, I will sample you the emotional aromatherapy. That way you get to try both. The throat drops and easy air drops, wild orange oil, which is a favorite here, a sample of shampoo and conditioner, a toothpaste, and an ice glue rub. And depending on what month you're watching this video, there may also be a monthly special on as well. So please contact me, and because it's different every month, so please contact me and I can let you know what the promotion of the month is. So what next? So as I said, if you've got questions, you'd like me to customize and help you with your specific needs and budget, please get in touch. You can email me at hello@thenaturalswitch.com.au, or you can order through my website. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it has inspired you to, you know, to put yourself first, to fill your own cup and look for different tools and ways that you can support yourself. You know, we can't always integrate everything, but if you've just picked one, if you've just practice one tool from today, maybe it's just a meditation, maybe it is just applying your oils daily, then, you know, I'm be so pleased that this class has been helpful. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you next time.